Now we're going to mix the epoxy. This type of a color, it has the acrylics mixed directly into the epoxy, and it's used to create a stone, kind of a marbly type of an effect. In this case, we're going to use 4 colors. We're going to use coal, espresso, bone, and desert sand. They're 4 great colors. They go great together, and we're going to use it to create a kind of a marbleized sort of looking stone. And it's mixed directly into the epoxy. Now, epoxy, of course, is a 1-to-1. It's an A and a B. So we're going to mix equal components of the A and the B together. And we want to make sure that we're mixing the equal amount. So if you keep the jars next to each other and what you've taken out, if it's the same when you're done and it's the same that's in here, obviously it's going to be the same. So just make sure that you take out equal parts of each of the products and you look at their receipt equally. And then mixing it is very important. Temperature of this is very important. We do not want to mix this at below 75 degrees. It will be very thick and won't mix very well. And also, you don't want it above 95 because as soon as you start mixing it, it'll take off like crazy. Epoxy dries chemically, so it has a chemical reaction. It forms a very hard layer, but at higher temperatures, it's almost uncontrollable. So we want to make sure that we mix it completely, mix around the edges, mix around the bottom, just make sure it's completely mixed. If you don't mix this all the way, it can form soft spots in the top, and then you'll have to redo it. So we don't want to do that, but fairly simple procedure, just make sure it's mixed. Once you get that mixed up, we're going to split it into 4 different cups. And we're going to put some of the epoxy in each one. Then we're going to add some color. You don't have to add a lot of the color. You just have to add enough color to color it, make sure the epoxy is the color that you want. If you add too much, it'll prevent the epoxy from sitting up, but as you can see, you don't need very much. It's just looking to get a color out of it. And you want to make sure this is completely mixed in, because if you don't, the acrylic can float on the top and form like little skin areas on it. So you just make sure it's completely mixed in, and it's easy to do. So that's the bone, now the desert sand. Again, we're looking to make sure it's just completely mixed. Now a little espresso, which is a dark brown color. And coal, which is a dark gray, almost a black. Now we're going to take some of the clear epoxy, and we're looking to form just a very thin layer here so that the color slips easily right across it. I'm not doing the edges, I'm only doing the top. Just about as thin as you can brush it out. Okay. Then we're going to take our pigmented color and we're just going to spread this around. We're looking for the white to be a fairly dominant color in this look here. So we'll have it mostly that bone color. And then we'll use some of the other colors to just pull in some accents in here and there. Maybe a little bit right there. Maybe a little bit of black and okay. And we're going to let that run down over the edge. As we move, it will help it. But I'm going to take, you see it's looking a little bit weird right now, but that's okay because we're just going to stir this up here like this. And I'm going to mix some of the color in like this and allow it to settle in there. Okay, so we're just going to let that sit just like that for a few more minutes. I'm going to brush some of the color down over the edge, straight down, so it looks like a full thickness of the rock with the color. We're going to let that just sit, and as it sits there and reacts, it'll start moving and it'll become very natural looking. You can see there's quite a few bubbles in here, and in about 4 or 5 minutes we're going to take a torch and just take those bubbles out. We're going to erase them with the propane torch. So it's just a waiting game at this point.